Hi, my name is Ivory James. I like to go by Queen, and this presentation is over the diversity of language. So nice to meet you. That's me. I'm in my third year teaching Algebra 1 at South Grand Prairie High School. This is my first year teaching English language learners. I have the sheltered classes. Most of my students are Spanish speaking, but I also have some students that speak Vietnamese as well. The biggest problem between my students and I is that language presents a big barrier for communication. It's hard to deliver the content information to the students when they don't fully understand me, and it's hard to assess the students when they don't really understand the test. All of the articles that I read support the idea that language can serve as a barrier between students and their learning. A language other than English is spoken in the home of nearly 20% of the U.S. population. As the population of minorities continues to grow, we must develop ways to better accommodate to these students. One of the articles suggests that learning a second language can definitely be improved by proficiency in the first language. Chen and Lee consider these common underlying proficiencies crucial to the development of learning that second language. As the other article pointed out by Mary, Genesis, and Carol, 7% of kindergartners have difficulty learning their native language. So here's the problem. If students are having difficulty learning their native language, how can we expect proficiency of learning a second language? We must bridge the gap between these languages by improving the proficiency of the first language as well. The other article by Riordan and O'Donoghue, sorry if I mispronounced that, but it also talks about having proficiency in both languages rather than just one. The reason this is a problem is because most students, when they enter the United States, development in the first language often ceases, and development in the second language is often prominent. This does not help our students and definitely does not help our society. As employers seek constantly bilingual servicers and providers, our students need to learn proficiency in both languages. The first action step I present is to improve ELL research. The authors mention that proficiency in the first language can help improve proficiency in the second language. Research needs to be done to test the validity of this statement. If this is true, this could definitely prove to help our ELL student population. Research should also be done to consider what factors are truly prohibiting these students and how these factors can um, influence their overall student performance. The second action step would to be changing the assessment policy. I know that this may not be possible on a state level, but on a district and campus level, it can be done. ELL students need to receive certain accommodations and certain types of assessments to truly gauge whether or not they understand the content. For example, some of my students receive Spanish to English dictionaries to help them during a test. However, this does not help if that first language proficiency is not at a master level. A lot of the dictionaries, when they translate the words, it gives them words that they've never even heard of in their first language. So this goes back to that problem with the first language being very proficient. So I definitely think something needs to be done to change the assessments, how we ask the questions to our students, how these students are assessed with or without accommodations. And we also need to consider culture in there as well. For example, you can't ask a penguin about a rainforest if he's never been. The third and last step would be to improve teaching practices. This step hits me personally. Throughout this year, I've learned that as a teacher, I am continuously a learner. One of the things that I've decided to do to better accommodate to my ELL students is to incorporate Spanish in my actual instruction. And this definitely helps my other students because they're learning Spanish as well. So we all communicate, we all speak as much as we can in other languages. We try to make each other feel more like a community rather than separating each other. I definitely think that teachers need to be more aware of the different languages and cultures within their classrooms. Teachers need to be trained on how to better handle and improve their instruction for these types of learners and these diverse students. Um, and I think that improving our teaching practices for these students, and whether that's through graphic organizers or through games or memorization or technology, however we choose to use it, do it, sorry. We definitely need to improve the way we teach these students. In conclusion, language needs to be a part of our conversation when we talk about diversity. As we approach 2017, most of our classrooms have some sort of minority students. Language can be the key to communicating and connecting with these students. Our schools, our districts, and our teachers need to learn that language can serve as a way to build us, help us grow, and to bring us together. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Queen Ivory James.